Hey guys, how's it going? Today, so this is a tricky one, a little bit complex, and I'm okay. So I have to use a little bit of a reference to religion. Okay, so let's just say, for example, um, there was Greek gods, okay, or whatever, okay, and the Greeks were really onto something because they have a story about Narcissus, okay? And Narcissus is a deity who fell in love with himself and died alone at his reflection in the pond, okay? So it's a Greek mythology, but the Greeks were really onto something because today we we talk about sorry, I think I burped just then, but we talk about uh, narcissists, okay, and psychologists are actually studying them, and their behaviors and the way they do things, and they're trying to figure them out, okay. So we actually have narcissists today. So when the Greeks tell that story about him falling, and this guy was very cruel, but he fell in love with his reflection, okay. Now, like I said, Greeks were onto something, so I'll have to kind of use take it as mythology, okay, if you really want to. So I'm going to talk about lust is strongly connected to erectile dysfunction and is connected to erectile dysfunction. Okay, so how I view lust is now. Why do I talk about this first? Okay, first I'll tell you why I'm talking about this is because you know you talk to someone or a young fella about this, like on Reddit or whatever, and he would say, "Can I watch porn and masturbate but not ejaculate?" Okay, now, like I'm gonna say that lust is masturbation and looking at pornography, but lust is also ejaculation. Now, it's a very complex, and I don't quite understand it as well, but I'm going to try and explain it the best I can to you guys, so from my 20 years of understanding. Okay, because when I first started removing, trying to uh, lessen the lessen, going no fap and uh, no masturbation and things like that. I didn't understand this either. Okay, it took me many years to figure this out. All right, so I'm gonna use an example with that guy that was talking about edging. He calls it edging. Okay, where you look at porn and you masturbate but you don't ejaculate. Okay, now he's talking about edging. That's probably a new word I've never heard of. Okay, and I had to explain that sex that you don't see alcoholics who quit within the first day having success at being wine tasters. Okay, you don't see them going, okay, I'm going to quit, and then go to a wine tasting event and having and spitting out the wine and doing it for months on end and having success. Okay, there may be one very strong guy that can do that, but I can't do that, and I don't think many of you guys can do that if you are alcoholics. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain. So triggers. Okay, so another thing is uh, with lust. Okay, and now this is now I have to connect this to ejaculation as well. So ejaculation, masturbation, pornography. Okay, but it's also visual. Okay, how often have you, for example, for me when I was a young teenage boy, and I don't like talking about it, it's quite embarrassing, but I see a woman who's dressed not pretty, but really provocatively. Okay, and then I'd go home and use my memory and masturbate. All right, or and then ejaculate. Okay, so another trigger is also looking at pretty women. Okay, and that's a form of lust. Okay, so is um, So, I mean, is it a deadly sin? I mean, I think it's hard on, you know, I'll talk about that later. But well, a really good example. I'll use. So, I got a ex-military background. Okay, so I know a couple of guys, and I don't know what it is, but and I don't know if this is true. So take it, just either take it or leave it. I've got no evidence of this, but psychologists are saying to him that there's a strong connection with erectile dysfunction and PTSD in the military sort of veteran side. Okay, so look, take it lightly. Do I believe in it? Well, I think it could be true. So it can have a massive psychological impact on you. Okay, I think it's true, but I got no evidence. All right. Also, the dead. Also, the other thing about deadly sin, all right, with lust, is it can cause a heart attack. Okay. Now I believe it can affect your heart. Okay. So when they say taking Viagra and things like that, well, you want to be able to have an erection naturally. If you're taking Viagra, that can really deplete a lot of your body's essence, and you end up with a heart attack. Now, I heard in a TED talk once that first your erection goes, and then it's your heart that starts failing if you don't treat it. Now, this is a TED talker from the West. Okay, so so to me, if you want to go no FAP, semen retention, or sexual moderation, you need to really work at understanding that lust is a sin, or is a deadly sin. Okay, and I'm going to say it that it's incredibly we're in an era where in the 60s we had the pill, so men started having erectile dysfunction in their 50s and 60s. Okay, which isn't too bad. The pill, right, helped to, in my view, increase the amount of pornography and things like and sex. Okay, society wide. Okay, then so men were obviously having sex at a certain age. Okay, but today pornography is way worse because there's young boys being exposed to it. And the young boys or young men haven't been fully developed, so they don't have that strong sex drive. Okay, you got to understand that there's a lot of smut out there, if that's the best word to use, and that's triggering young men to do things that they shouldn't really be doing at that age. The longer these young men don't engage in lustful thoughts or lustful activities, the stronger of a sex drive they can have throughout their life. Okay. Should I talk anything more about this? So, edging and pornography, if you're saying you want to watch pornography but not ejaculate and you're doing no FAP, good luck to you, mate. I don't think you can succeed. Okay, but you have to understand why you shouldn't be looking at these things, because they're big triggers. They're big triggers in your to ejaculate. Okay, that's it. Hopefully I've explained myself well. Any feedback would be great. Okay, cheers guys. Bye.